Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Music and Moonsaults. I am your host, Chris Bourdine, and joining me once again, it's been a while, Joe.
Clearly.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You know, whatever. Cameras, bah.
It's good to be back, pal.
Yes,
People will not realise this has been a catastrophe.
yes, yes.
25 minutes
If
of
you
me just being
all
confused.
only knew
Oh,
what the last 10 minutes have been like for Joe and I trying to get this recorded, but we're here. I have
Yeah.
Joe Hulbert. He is the head of all things. I mean, he's gonna push, brush it off, but he is the head of all things over at latenightgrin.com. You know, he's gonna be all humble and say, "Oh, it's a team effort," blah blah. But come on, it's Joe. It's Joe, and you know, he's
I
Frankie Valli. Everyone else is the Four Seasons over there. Let's put it.
I appreciate that. I've decided I'm not going to be humble anymore. So I was
Okay,
going to
good.
I was just going to, yeah. So I was just going
Good.
to tap it. You're right. I mean, once I would have, but as you said, it's been a while, right? So
Yeah.
enough of that humility stuff. But I appreciate you anyway. It's a hell of a time over there, as you know. So
Yeah.
anytime, being a part of it's fun. But I like steering the ship. It's a fun deal for me. But I'm very excited because we have some World Championship Wrestling to explore today, pal. Which that's my thing.
It
So
is.
I'm excited.
And it's been like we've done obviously a lot of WWE stuff. The times you've been on, we've even watched the TNA match.
Yes.
But we haven't yet to watch some WCW together. So I'm excited to get that kicked off today, and we got a nice good one here. Going all the way back to 1992.
Yes, and it's a very interesting clash we'll kind of get into as we go here. But this is like one of the most unique Clash of Champions ever because it's the anniversary show where it's like wrestling on Turner.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a whole lot of cameos throughout. It's a really interesting show, and this is the opening match. So
Yeah, and
it's
the show that kind of like soured the relationship between Vince McMahon and Andre the Giant for the rest of Andre's life there because Andre makes an appearance and kind of pisses off Vince there for a bit. So it's very interesting.
It is,
as you said, but
a moment in time, fair to say.
There you go.
A moment.
There you go. But yes, the opening match. So if you're like me and you're stuck in the States, and having to use the Peacock, you need to go to the Clash of the Champions Season 5, Episode 3. It's Clash of the Champions 20.
I'm sorry, the season thing will never not get me. It doesn't even matter, but it's just silly, It's just,
what? Like, it's not bad if you're like doing like a Raw or a Nitro or whatever and can do the math. But and even like the Clash, it's not terrible. But like when it's pay-per-view and it's like there's one SummerSlam a year, like
yeah.
So that part where it's that part is where it gets a little silly.
On the Derby Network, we still are on with the the gimmicks. You can hit the button, it takes you to the match. Which
yes.
I don't know if is that a thing on Peacock?
No, it is not.
Well,
I know.
Go, folks.
So
no seasons here, but we're at 8:08 on the traditional WWE Network.
I got a couple seconds ahead of you, so I will back up.
I don't think they're perfectly. From what I remember, we're doing shows with Bob. They're not perfectly aligned on the opposite. Like Peacock has other things apparently that make it longer or shorter. I forget. So my shot is like they've just taken the wide shot of the center stage and the lights are booming and we'll be around correctly.
Yeah, we'll be pretty good. I'm at like 8:11, so
yeah, I think it'll be fine.
Yeah, we'll be relatively close. So
works for me.
Yeah, I'm gonna give a quick countdown and we're gonna press play. We're gonna watch this match. It's I guess I should say the match. It's Ricky the Dragon Steamboat versus Stunning Steve Austin for the television title.
Pretty good one. Pretty nice matchup.
Whatever happened to those guys? All right. So in 3, 2, 1, play, and we're off.
Iconic visual for me. This one. Hilarious that they just
Saturday night logos. I was just gonna say they just left the Saturday night sign up.
Bill Watts was like, "It's fine. It's a Saturday. They'll figure it out. It's fine." But Yeah, it's always been interesting to me. This is where they run this particular, like this clash is so significant the way it's presented on the show, and they did it at center stage. It's like I get it to an extent, but it feels like you could have. I mean, 1992 WCW's maybe not, but maybe you could have moved some tickets. Novel concept. I don't know.
Maybe.
Maybe not.
Yeah. I was, I was kind of watching, the beginning to try and nail down the time here, and I saw the on camera with JR and Jesse, and they were talking about, and we're gonna have a fan poll tonight to see if we get rid of the off the top rope rule.
Oh yeah, it's that time, brother. 92 is such an interesting spot because they go through a couple different versions. Kip Allen Fry is the kind of head honcho for the start of the year, and then now we're getting to Watts, as obviously as you just alluded to with that rule,
yes,
which would live in infamy. But the Dangerous Alliance is still rolling here, as we see with Paul Lee and Austin. So it's a very interesting time. It's one of those times where you look back on the roster and say, how wasn't they doing better?
Mm-hmm.
But that is a tale as old as time in pro wrestling alternatives. So it is what it is.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, Austin looking good here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the hair's a little stronger here, right, than it gets. In a couple of years, the hair gets...
It's like, okay.
The hair gets outrageous. Yeah, it gets outrageous.
Time to let it go.
Speaking of such, Paul Lee's out there.
Yeah. Oh, boy, what do we got here?
Uh-oh. Business just picked up.
Johnny B. Bad. Making his way to the ring.
Yep.
Oh.
Well, TV title was on the line, so Johnny B. Bad's close by. That's a rule in World Championship Wrestling. When we were talking about what match we were going to do, when I saw Austin Steamboat,
yes,
my mind went to the 94 matches.
Right.
And because that's where I think of their rivalry, right? Like the time when Hogan's coming in, they have a famous match at Clash in August 94.
Yeah.
Which I think is like Clash 26 or 27, I forget. But this is a different part of Steve's career where he's very much the young kind of bumping mid. I mean, he is that in 2 years, but he's more senior at that point. He's done the Hollywood Blondes run, so on and so forth. So it's very interesting to look back on.
Why would they wait and do the national anthem until the wrestlers are in the ring?
I don't know, but it's an incredible visual. That shot of the crowd legitimately looks like it's a movie insert. It looks like it's been edited in.
Man, look at that mullet on that dude. That kind of looks like what my dad looked like back in 1992.
Respect. Big respect.
He might have cut his hair by then, but yeah, he had. My dad had I call it a frullet because it was like a fro and a mullet all at once.
Levels.
Yeah, it was pretty spectacular.
There you go.
He'd actually be stylish today.
Yeah, man, like everything changes. Times. I must say the Dragon he's held in there well. We saw him on TV recently, and I was happy to see him looking good. And that's it's a rare thing that we get in wrestling. Like, oh, he looks good. Good for him.
Yes.
I mean, the real obvious talking point. We're at 30 years removed from this, and Paul E is managing the top heel in wrestling today.
Yes. Yes.
That's ridiculous, man. That's crazy.
Mm-hmm. And Austin just had a match earlier this year.
It was damn good too.
Yeah.
It was the real triumphant. I mean, I didn't think he would, come back and half-ass it, but I didn't think he'd do a suplex on the floor, to be quite frank with you, Chris.
No, I did not see that coming at all myself.
Great moment. Very, very cool moment. So. There's a lot of... you and I both operating without real sound here, right? So
yes.
There's a lot going on here.
There is.
There's a lot of moving pieces. I'm seeing this is quite the deal.
Should maybe turn my captions on, see what's going on.
It appears Paul Lee is...
Oh.
Now I understand. I was wondering what that was. Yeah. Look at Heyman selling this. God bless. Pro wrestling. Kicking the door.
Yes.
Not moving it an inch, which is a tremendous heel work. Look at Paul Lee. I didn't realize they did this at center stage. This is a very small building for such a thing.
Yeah. And why, I get the idea of locking the manager or, you know, the faction or whatever it is in a cage, but then why do we have to have the added thing of raising the cage?
I don't know. I have no idea. Let's hope for Steamboat's, sake that Ruby Soho's not controlling the commands on that thing. Otherwise, we'll be in big trouble. Look at those.
Yeah.
This is a thing that genuinely, I'm not an It Used to Be Better guy, but I love when guys actually sell the chops with like a swing of the shoulders, like Austin was doing there.
Yeah.
Like he was swaying with the momentum.
Mm-hmm.
Look at this. This is tremendous already.
Yeah.
This is a classical matchup, right? Veteran babyface, young heel. Yeah, it's just classical stuff here immediately. Steamboat was great the whole time, honestly.
Oh, yeah.
He really was. I actually think this part of his career is kind of slept on historically. I think people think of Steamboat as an 80s guy, and rightly so, because that's his prime.
Mm-hmm.
But he's golden until he stops wrestling in 94. Like, he's so good for them, this whole run.
Yeah, definitely.
Paulie's selling in the in the cage. Again, it's such an incredible visual in a small room like this. It's like it doesn't even have like the spectacle element, does it? It's kind of
it's just like, okay.
Look at this, man.
Oh my goodness.
How old is Steamboat here? He's got to be 40, right? Close.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, it's something we're more used to now, of course, right? We're a lot more used to guys, being great into their 40s now. But then, a lot of Ricky's peers were not aging that way in the early 90s, unfortunately.
It was basically him and Flair.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and they have that match, 94, at Stampede 94, I believe it is, where they kind of they revisit the classic rivalry. It's so great. Like, it's not as good as their greatest matches, but it's the idea of it. This idea of a great rivalry still being that strong, it's magical. Yeah, you're right. Him and Flair I think that's about it.
Yeah. Really working that headlock.
They are. Austin has been in this headlock now for about a minute.
Yeah.
As the heel, too. This is not like a heel rest hold. The babyface is working this headlock. I assume he's going to cut him off to the ribs, right? Would be my guess with the tape.
Yes.
We shall see.
There's probably where it turns.
The pace is up and down.
Oh.
Like they came to a halt there in that headlock. And they went into like a big sequence,
Yeah.
Austin's doing the classic point to the brain.
Yes.
Heel torn. Look at that sell of the chop there. I mean, that's just tremendous. Now, this is an extended Ricky shine here, Chris.
It sure is.
We thought that was the cutoff a second ago, and
no, we're right back. Yeah, we're right back in with Steamboat in control. Steamboat's got the DDP 5 years earlier thing going with the rib tape.
Yes, absolutely. That tape seemed to expand every week too with DDP, didn't it? It was like by the end, it was just like a vest he was sort of wearing. It was quite the deal. You get a good shot there of Austin's hairline. You see it struggling, but it's got a ways to go yet, though. It'll get worse, Steve. Don't worry about it. It all works out for the best. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, exactly.
I would like to think that Steve Austin doesn't regret shaving his head in the end. I think it paid off.
Yeah.
He did okay, right?
Yeah.
He did okay. They're back to this headlock here. This is quite the deal. I don't know if the crowd is like rocking for this headlock, but looking at them,
doesn't seem like it.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't seem that way at all. They are back to it again. He's gonna go back to it. My God! Oh, pull of the hair. Couldn't out wrestle him.
That dastardly heel.
Couldn't get out of the headlock, Chris. Yanked into the mat. Can't trust these guys, Here we go. Surely now we're gonna get some. Nope. Babyface is still going.
Oh, there you go.
Punch the ribs. Here we go. Surely we're there now. This will be interesting. Maybe get some.
Try for.
What's going on here? Oh my goodness!
That was
something. It wasn't a belly suplex. It was like he sort of just shot him out of a cannon, or
just kind of threw him.
That was quite the deal. I thought they were going to go up for a superplex, and I thought it was going to be a belly to belly, and it was quite something.
Oh, there goes the rib protection.
Here we go, folks. Stunning Steve is now in control, firmly in control. We're going to get some chops in kind of defiant chops, but
Ricky's not going to go down without a fight.
No, which is again that is an actual lost art, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
babyface continue to fight when he's being worked over because the idea is that in the babyface's mind he's still fighting. He's not just waiting to make his comeback in 10 minutes. That's
Yeah.
there's something to be said for that certainly. Yeah, it's interesting to see. I mean, Ricky Steamboat is someone who, while his offense obviously would need some, some updating, so to speak, he could easily wrestle today stylistically, right? I mean, he could easily give a promotion good TV today if you time machined Ricky Steamboat. Like his style is kind of timeless in that way, in a way that a
Mm-hmm.
lot of his peers, it was not the case.
Oh yeah, definitely.
The way that Austin is swinging those chops is amazing, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's like turning the whole way around in response to them. Look at this. Steamboat's like really coming back here strong. Look at this. The ribs.
Austin's like the old Hasbro figures where
Yeah.
they'd have the clothesline action and you got to like turn the top half of their body to get it to work.
Absolutely right. that was a tremendous deal there. Ricky was making a comeback and the ribs stopped him from doing a body slam. That was good stuff.
Abdominal stretch.
Yes, which is one of those moves that when it's applied incorrectly, I question if I know how it's applied correctly. You see guys get confused, and I totally relate because as someone that's watched wrestling for years, I also get confused.
Yes.
That is correct. I'm pretty confident this is the correct way it's supposed to look.
Yes.
You get a little bit of the elbow there.
And he's not just sitting,
No.
got him in the hold. He's actually using his elbow and his hand to work
the
on
hand
that.
is. I don't recall seeing that very often. That is kind of vicious what he's doing there, right?
Yeah.
I wonder how that feels for Ricky because he looks like he's pretty brutal there on the on the side of the ribs. Back to it. See, there's where guys get stuck a lot of times. The position, Steve put himself in to get arm drag. Guys get stuck there as that's the hold. It happens sometimes on TV. Look at that bump.
That sell on that was wonderful.
That's his thing, right? Yeah.
Well, that's, again, this is the Austin kind of, I think, unfair. He does the old Joel Hulbert thing. He tries to be a little bit more humble about his in-ring ability, but here in the early 90s, he was great, and that's why a lot of people thought he had next eventually, and it just never worked out in WCW.
He was like the Flair blueprint, right? That was like the idea, was that he would be eventually that archetype. It's interesting. I think also it's worth noting that, like, if you look at how he works as a heel in 2001, he's incredible in that run. I think he just simplified his game to be a babyface.
Foot on the ropes.
Yeah, Steve won a lot like that in WCW. Like, if you go through his title matches, he wins so many that exact way. So I would like to think the crowd bit on it, but looking at them, you never know. Tony Schiavone does not have fond memories of these crowds, I have to say, which is funny as someone that like enjoys the idea of it. They were not the greatest crowds by all accounts. I think you're kind of seeing that here.
Well, Bischoff doesn't have it either. He's always trashing the center stage crowds when they're talking.
Sell of the ribs there from Steamboat, delayed the pin. Eric hates any kind of like studio thing. He despises, right? Like, he's just not a fan of it, which I get. I think, it kind of misses a trick in some ways, but I understand it.
Tights.
Yeah, they're going through a lot of Steve's classic kind of escapes of title defenses here. Again, which in theory should work, whether it is or not. We'll be polite and say we're not sure.
Yeah.
The match is very well worked, but I just don't know if it's quite connecting with the people that are sitting there with their arms folded the way that you'd like,
Right.
We're going to get some superplex. No. Oh, look at
there we go. That lady in the yellow there is pretty excited.
That's how it's supposed to work, That's professional wrestling right there. My goodness. Come off to the ribs again. This is really like smartly executed wrestling match.
Very.
Oh,
small package.
Oh my goodness. Incredible refereeing there, must be said. Just masterful work there. Sort of counting his own pace and, the kind of things you expect.
Shoulder block.
Almost Takeshita-esque there, Chris.
Yes.
Do you see the double ropes run there?
Yes.
Look at this. Try and get a pin. I like the way the pace goes up and down in this one. Because,
Ooh.
Got to be careful with the top rope, as we know, especially soon.
Well,
you know,
so
so
I'm
be very careful.
I have the captions on, and they just said something about it's a no disqualification match.
Oh my goodness. Why?
Yeah, this match no disqualification, so they can go off the top rope. They can toss people out over.
I've only just remembered this finish, and I am now delighted this is the one we're doing because I'd forgotten this was this match.
Ricky's climbed out on the other side.
Steamer going on. That is an all-timer. How has that not been stolen more? That is amazing. He crawls under the ring.
Yes.
He comes out the other side.
That's tremendous.
Finish.
That is absolutely tremendous.
Yeah, it's tremendous. Absolutely. Just wonderful stuff. And Steve sold it perfectly because it wasn't too much, right? Steve just went to the side of the ring expecting to be and was like, what? So he didn't oversell it. You know, it was perfect. New television champ. Great. Look at that celebration from Ricky. Wow. Amazing stuff. I always love these terrible slow-mos they gave us back there. Look at that. Look at Steamer's eyes on that shot. Incredible. Wow.
Yeah.
What a finish.
That's great. You know, that's got finish. This is going to sound like, I mean, I don't think you'd ever put these two people in the same sentence necessarily, but that's got Orange Cassidy written all over it.
No, actually,
that'd be something I could totally see Orange pulling off on a Dynamite one week, crawling underneath the ring to the other side.
And then like a very popular wrestling Twitter account will be like, actually, in 1992, it'll get like 2,000 retweets.
Yeah.
I might get ahead of that and tweet a clip of it, you know, try and get ahead of the game on this, Chris. That is definitely, like when he went under, I remembered it because I've seen all the clap, but it's forgotten. That's like a brilliant finish that no one talks about. So
yeah. No, I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, really nice match. I mean, it's not like a, it's not trying to be like a classic or anything, right? It's just a really nicely wrestled TV title match between two great workers. Good TV, basically. Simply.
Yeah, for sure. Let's see here. I had it and then I had lost it. So let me pull this back up.
You're good. And we're a lot of technical difficulties here today, folks, on my end. So, let it play out,
A little all over the place. It's okay. I hate how that works. Like I just did the search function on Cage Match.
It's a catastrophe. Yeah, it's bad. It's real bad.
Like I put in the thing and then I go to change the year and then it erased everything.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I can try and
here it is. No, I got it. Cool. So that match received a 6.9 on Cage Match, 3 1/4 from Mr. Meltzer.
How many times in his write-up do you think he said didn't get enough time? Just didn't get enough time.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a good pro wrestling match between two great pro wrestlers. And
10:43.
I'm sure. Yeah, there you go. I mean, in fairness, if he did write that, probably could have done more time. But it's a different thing. That particular show has a lot of cameos and such. So
yeah. There's a lot. There's only 4 matches. 5 matches, excuse me. The rest of the card is Arn Anderson and Bobby Eaton with Michael Hayes defeating Dick Slater and Greg Valentine with Larry Zbyszko.
Oh my goodness! Well, famously, that trio, Eaton, Arn, and Hayes, the next month they wrestle like the 3 young guys in WCW. It's like Buff. I forget who the guys are, but it's like the young guys that Watts wants to push, and Philadelphia just rejects the young guys and cheers the heels. Well, it's quite the deal. If anyone's ever seen that, then like it's quite the Philly moment in wrestling history.
Yes.
So that trio is short-lived, but a fun idea.
Yes. Ron Simmons defends the WCW World Heavyweight title against Cactus Jack.
Just won it the week before, probably, right? Very close to, anyway. Very close to.
Butch Reed and the Barbarian. They take on Barry Windham and Dustin Rhodes.
That sounds like a good time.
There weren't enough votes for a rating, so that's why I didn't have it. Otherwise, that probably would have been a good one to watch. And then the main event of this clash was an 8-man elimination tag with Big Van Vader, Jake Roberts, Rick Rude, and the Super Invader with Harley Race, and they defeat the team of Nikita Koloff, Sting, and the Steiner Brothers.
All-Star 8-man to close out a big
Yes.
celebration show. That's pretty cool. Yeah, I think that one gets some time to like. I don't know if it goes 20, but it goes like what 15.
15:57, so almost
There you
16.
go,
Yeah.
Yeah, they get some time. It's elimination. So yeah, I remember that show. It's I don't know how good it is in like a traditional sense of like star ratings, but it's a really good time because of all the cameos and guest spots and the presentation, which frankly was not something people expected from Clash that time, where it was kind of relatively bare bones, right? I mean, it
Mm-hmm.
was a wrestling show. That show's a little bit different, so a cool moment in time for sure.
Yeah, I enjoy revisiting the early WCW days,
Yeah.
even though creatively sometimes they were not exactly with it, but just when you look at the talent they had, during those first 4 or 5 years,
Yeah.
and then a lot of the matches pop me, and are some of them are actually legitimately very good.
Yeah.
And I think this is I talked about this with Mr. Robert O'Neill, because earlier this year he and I watched from this year the Sting Cactus match from Beach Blast.
Oh yeah.
And I mean I think everyone, especially in this our relative ages, I know there's some gap here, but
Right.
everyone considers Jim Ross probably the greatest.
Yes.
And a lot of that is due to how iconic a lot of those calls are in the Attitude Era. But I think as an actual play-by-play man, this work here in WCW is just
it's
top notch.
I'm a big WCW fan.
Yes.
In truth, those years you're talking about are the years that are the actual crux of that for me. I mean, I love the concept. Nitro as a story is great. But if you said to me, what do I want to watch, like early 90s Saturday Night or an episode of Nitro in 97, like there's a charm to early 90s WCW because it's basically a lot of the feeling of NWA late 80s, mid 80s is still there, A lot of it's gone too, which is why the fans are not so into it. But like there are moments where the NWA roots come to the fore and you get these like incredible crowd reactions, and I don't know. I have a kind of soft spot for early 90s wrestling in general in America because while it was struggling, watching promotions throw stuff at the wall and like the formats, it's great what Nitro did to wrestling TV, but it also in a lot of ways changed the game for bad ways too, in the sense that, things are frenetic now and it isn't as, the vibe isn't the same. It's better in a lot of ways, but that stuff is kind of like a time capsule and it didn't last very long. But really interesting time for sure. I think it's kind of understated historically, early 90s WCW, to be honest with you.
Yep. All right. Well, Joe, where can people find you?
LateNightGrin.com is just, it's going to get you everything because we post literally every stream we post there because I'm terrified of the idea of streams being lost for some reason. It's a weird thing. Things will just show up on the Patreon. It's like, no one's going to watch this, but it's here for historical purposes. We can sell it to the Ringer one day, that kind of deal.
There you go.
So LateNightGrin.com is that's the home of everything, and you'll kind of get clued up pretty quickly on what's going on. We have a good time over there, Chris, as you know. So there's always a lot going on. So.
Yes, there is. It's great stuff. I mean, the paywall stuff you can get for just $1. You can't beat it. So yeah, go check Joe and everyone else over at the Grin Out, and you won't be disappointed.
Appreciate it, man. Very much. Thanks for having me. This was a good time. I love watching some WCW, so this was a good time.
Yes. So yeah, for Joe Hulbert, I'm like I said, I'm Chris Bourdin. You can follow me at IbenazChris on the Twitter. You can do audio of this if you so choose on all your major podcast platforms. Or just tell your friends to go to musicandmoonsaults.com for the video. So, all right, guys, until next time, see ya.